House to Home, brought to you by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are talking to the real estate experts on Guam, Gina and Liz from RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Now, ladies, we are talking today about undivided interest, something I know absolutely nothing about, so you have my undivided attention.
Well, undivided interest is, for example, a property. Let's say your dad deeded an acre of property to you and your siblings. So if there are 5 of you, you have 1/5 interest, and the rest of your family member have, you know, your siblings have an interest. So each of you have 1/5 interest.
By default, it splits it evenly.
It's split evenly.
Okay.
Now, the people sometimes don't understand. They come in, they want to sell a piece of property, and if they come in, they cannot sell that piece of property because they need all other parties to come in and sign as well. So again, they feel like, well, we own it. Why can't we sell it? Well, trying to sell 1/5 interest in a piece of land is not that easy, because if you bought it and your ownership with 4 other members you don't know, it could get complicated because you can't do anything with that parcel unless everyone agrees.
Now, am I to understand this correctly? This isn't like a local election where, you know, you have to have the 50+1 rule, or, you know, 51% of the, you know, as long as you maintain majority. This, it has to be all, it's an all or none deal.
All or none deal,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, and you can sell your interest, but what happens is if you're trying, I'll continue with Liz's example. So you've got an acre property, which is what, 3,816 square meters, or if it's a U.S. acre, it's 4,047, right? So there's 5 of you that own this one piece of property. And you're absolutely correct. There is no majority rules here. You either all sign or you all don't. So what happens is, if you want to pass your property to your children, or as family members, if you choose to own that property together, all 5 of you, what you're really doing is you're diminishing the value of your property, because it's worth a lot more if you would just get together and decide how to cut it up into 5 pieces if it's possible, and go ahead and cut it up. And what if you can't cut it up into 5 pieces, because some properties are in areas where an acre cannot be cut up into 5.
Right.
You know, so there are certain situations where when you own an undivided interest and you choose to keep it that way, you're really diminishing the value of your property.
And mathematically, this is obviously a bigger problem for people that have large families, because if you've got 8 kids and it splits 8 ways, you've got to have 8 people thinking the exact same way.
It gets complicated. So for example, of the 5 siblings, if one passes away, then that 1/5 interest has to go to probate. And then if that individual had 10 children, then all 10 children has an interest in the 1/5 interest. So it could really get complicated. Now, we've had families come to us and say, we want to sell it. So we tell them, okay, fine, go back, we'll need all the signatures, or what we will need is a power of attorney, where one party will get a power of attorney for all the rest of the siblings, and then we just deal with one individual. It's so much cleaner that way. You're dealing with one person, and all the siblings give their power of attorney, and some are happy to do that because they want to liquidate the property, and then some, there might be some complications within the family that they don't want to do that, and then at that point we get all 5 signatures.
Now, not like I want to complicate things any further, but of course we live in an era where 1 out of every 2 marriages end in divorce, and people very often remarry. So what would happen if, like, say, I have 4 children and I've deeded the property that I own equally in 4 parts, and then I get married and I wind up inheriting, you know, 5 stepchildren? Does it get further divided, and that, you know, you have this like big pyramid problem almost?
If you've already deeded the property to your 4 children already, it stays with them. But now these 4 individuals, your 4 children now own the property equally, and honestly, they really need to take a look at it to see where is the value, because if you can't divide it into 4, what good is it? And what we're trying to tell people right now is, while the 4 of you still own it and it's complicated but not too complicated, sit down and decide what you're going to do with it. And if, you know, I talked to a family recently, and I said, listen, divide it into whatever many pieces you can legally by law, and sell one so you can use the funds for that to do something with the rest. Because owning real estate, my philosophy is if I'm not a farmer, I've got to get something on there that's going to earn me some money, because if not, I'm just paying taxes. And I have no time to farm, so I'm going to do whatever I can to put something on it that's rentable.
Well, I hope a certain family member of mine is watching this right now, because I've been mentioning that many, many times over the years. So ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, interesting lesson right now. Mathematically, it gets really, really complicated and sticky. So lesson learned, get along with your brothers and sisters. It makes a difference later on in life. All right, stay tuned. We're back after this.